From the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy, it's Retro Nerd Girl celebrating 6 years on YouTube. Woohoo! Woo! Thank you so much for answering the call by sending me all of these awesome questions. And I just want to get right into it. So let's do it. So, first question by Joseph Bigay. Hello, first off, I'd like to say that I typically enjoy your reviews and it's great to learn something new about old movies of my long misspent youth and would like to thank you for your efforts. Why, thank you. That is so sweet, Joseph. Now for my question. What led you to create this channel? Each video makes it apparent that you have a youthful joy re-experiencing these films, but it must be a lot of effort to put together. Thank you very much for the compliments. I really appreciate it. It does take me a long time to put these together. And I basically created this channel because I was hoping to make a sci-fi movie, very low budget, and I wanted to learn more about storytelling and what were the ingredients to make a really good sci-fi movie, even if it's low budget. There were a lot of movie reviews that were very unkind, and they were, making fun of a lot of old movies, and I was like, you know what? There really aren't a lot of channels that are talking about the movies that they love and going into detail about them. 6 years ago, the only channel that was kind of doing exactly what I wanted to do was Oliver Harper, and his videos are amazing. Another channel was Double Toasted. At the time, they were called Spill.com, and I really loved their animations and stuff like that they were doing while they were making reviews, and it kind of gave me the idea of having an avatar and kind of doing some light animation. So that's a lot of information you probably didn't ask for, but those are my influences. So now I know you have a second question. Are you ever planning on reviewing Colossus, the Forbidden Project, released in 1970? I would very much like to see/hear what you have to say about that movie. For that, I don't know if I've ever seen Colossus, so I'll have to put it on my watch list. All right, so this question is from Quintessence SL. Hi, Quintessence. You've been with the channel for such a long time. Thank you for your support and always leaving awesome comments. Your question is, so what about sci-fi horror fantasy that speaks to you? Why this instead of anything else? Well, for me in particular, I would say sci-fi fantasy. I would leave out the horror. But if it has this undertone, like Logan's Run, where the society was the horror element in the film. I love sci-fi because ever since I was a little girl, I loved anything to do with space and space exploring and things like that. I think, and this is going to sound weird, some of the movies that I remember when I was a kid were kung fu movies. Yeah, so weird. And those movies, I think, were kind of a gateway drug. Other things like the $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman, the Hulk, where there was talking about like science experiments gone wrong. That kind of stuff really intrigued me. And these were, TV shows at the time that when I was a little girl that really kind of sunk into my subconscious. So anything that was different than Planet Earth, I was all about. And so when Star Wars came along and reruns of Star Trek was always on television, and we had Battlestar Galactica, I was loving this, and Buck Rogers. Those shows were so amazing to me. I loved it. I loved all the aliens and all the weird stuff that, I loved it, and movies were just like, I wanted to see every fantasy movies with unicorns and strange puppets and all that stuff. This is all wild things that never happens in real life, and that's the fantasy of going to the movies for me, is seeing something that's not at all like anything that's on planet Earth. It's something I like. I don't know how to explain it. It's something that I've always liked. and have always fantasized about. So it was sort of like, that's my jam right there. I mean, even as a little kid, just like, that's my jam right there. I was very lucky to be brought up in a home where my mom too sort of loved this fantasy and sci-fi genre. She indulged me and we enjoyed a lot of movies together, and that really helped to build my love of movies. The next question is, you are given $1 million to make a movie. What is that movie? Well, I have 4 movie ideas in mind, which I plan on eventually doing in some fashion or form. The main one is set in space 5,000 years into the future. And it feels like Barbarella, it feels like Adult Swim, Robot Chicken. Not a lot of money, not even $1 million, but definitely a lot of fun. Then I have some other ideas, which is like a vampire movie, a Lifetime Christmas movie, and one is another sci-fi kind of epic. It feels a lot like Macbeth, and the Joker had a baby in outer space. So yeah, those are the movies that I want to make. Where's the merch, you ask? And the merch is coming. I was really waiting for more people ask for merch. If you're definitely one of the people who want merch, go ahead and leave a message down below saying that you want the merch and you want it now. I want merch and I want it now. And look, I'm working on it. I tried to do it 2 years ago during the pandemic, and it was a disaster. It just didn't work out. We'll see. We're working on it. Again, no promises, no dates, but just know that I'm working on it. And I also attached the responses to this, which is, one is from William Blake Hall, who leaves the most amazing comments for me, has always been super supportive. William Blake Hall, absolutely. Thank you for all of the very sweet and nice comments that you always leave me. And I get so many ideas from your comments, so thank you so much. Now, William says, just so we're all clear, $1 million isn't what it used to be. You're so right. Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks project right now strikes me as a literal $1 million movie. Yeah, it really is. And he's got some really great actors that are going to be in that movie. It's a horror movie. Anything to do with sci-fi really requires a lot of special effects. So yeah, it doesn't really get you too far for sci-fi and all that. But a horror movie you could do on a lower budget. I've been watching him since he first got on the scene, and it's really awesome to see how far he's gone. A real inspiration. And Quintessence SL responds to that, saying, the better part of valor is making those hard decisions of where the money gets spent. Good special effects and name brand actors. I was just saying that. We're on the same page, Quintessence SL. Good writing and good set pieces, etc. Yes, good writing is key. And then you mentioned Turbo Kid, which I love, and that is a movie that I'll be reviewing. Not very soon, but it's on my list to review. Turbo Kid had a budget of $60,000 and completely rocks. $1 million is more than generous. Yes, for a low budget film, I think so. It is. It's how you spend the money. $60,000 more than enough. I think $60,000 would probably get me like 2 movies, the way I plan on doing them. All right, the next question is from Latino Slant. Oh, wow. Hey, Latino Slant is one of my latest favorite channels. I like heading over to his live streams and checking out the conversations that he has over there. Very intriguing stuff. He says, Retro, 6 years? Amazing. Where's the party? It's right here, everybody. Woohoo! It's just been a big fun party over here. I am having so much fun celebrating the 6-year anniversary, and it almost feels like yesterday. I can't believe it has been 6 years. So yeah, the party is over here. Okay, next question is from William Blake Hall. Hey RNG, my sister lives outside New York City, and it always scares me to walk around in it or watch just from a train. I hear ya. My hometown of Pittsburgh is nothing to sneeze at, but it's like having a downtown area I can walk around, which I guess is true even of Chicago, while New York City just looks like one big endless downtown to me. My sister tries telling me it's a bunch of neighborhoods, but that hasn't worked. If you're into New York City, maybe you could do some movies showing it some love. I think some movie reviews that I have done that with was Ghostbusters, Desperately Seeking Susan, and Liquid Sky. Those were three that I really enjoyed reviewing because it made me kind of remember New York City a lot. Okay, so you continue to say, I don't know about Taxi Driver. Yeah, it's not my thing. But let alone The Godfather. But I wouldn't mind seeing your reaction to The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original thriller Marathon Man, which is partly set around the campus of Columbia. I haven't done Marathon Man, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I've never seen The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. New York City definitely gets used to full effect in the romantic fantasy, The Adjustment Bureau. I'm so sorry. I'm so lame. I didn't see that one. So I guess the question is, could New York be a subgenre for you to look at? Ooh, maybe. Also, could be messing with DNA be a subgenre? I don't see why not. It sounds like a lot of fun to me. I'm thinking of movies ranging from The Boys from Brazil. Yes, that is on my list. Gattaca, that is also on my list of movies to review. And I think something called The Island with Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor. Yes, that's another movie that's on my list, actually. Not Michael Caine in a pirate colony. And you say that The Island may be underappreciated. I think so. I really agree with you. I also wonder if you would take on movies which people achieve higher consciousness. Yes, not necessarily superpowers, at least at first. This could range from Lucy, Johansson again. And that one I've never seen. I think I was really kind of turned off by it. And Limitless. Yes, Limitless was so amazing. It's a little dark. It's a little bit on the dark side for me. But I did love that movie when it came out. I did enjoy it. But I think this goes clear back to the sad but interesting Carly starring Cliff Robertson. I've never seen that movie. I guess that's going to be on my list now. There's also a pleasant curiosity called Phenomenon, starring John Travolta. That is a movie I remember not seeing on purpose because I was like, what is this? It was one of those movies I was like, I just skipped on. But listen, if this is a good movie, maybe I should check it out. I trust your judgment. William, I trust your judgment. Okay, so I'll take a look at Phenomenon and see if that's something I would like. So those are my questions, really ideas for right now. New York City, messing with human DNA, higher consciousness. Give them a thought. Thanks for the opportunity, RNG and Excelsior. Oh my God, this is why I love getting messages from William. They're the best. They're awesome. And sometimes I don't have enough time to write back and respond to everything. So I can only do a heart because I love them so much. So yeah, that is, those are some really awesome questions, William. Okay, the next question. NCG says, what's your favorite decade when it comes to movies and your least favorite decade? Okay, so my favorite decade when it comes to movies, oh, it's like a tie between the 70s and the 80s, and the 50s were actually pretty good too. I think hands down the 80s have the most movies that I probably most remember and I most connect with. I think the 80s really takes the cake as far as like the most intense period of filmmaking that I think made so many huge strides, and going through my teenage years and sort of developing a lot of my identity at that point. And my least favorite decade for me was definitely the 60s and the 90s. The 90s for me, there were so many movies that I just couldn't get into in the 90s. They just weren't my flavor. And there's still a lot of movies from the 90s that I never saw. But you know, one thing about the 90s is that when it does amazing movies, I mean, it does it well. And NCG also says, by the way, I love your channel and your passion for classic movies. Well, thank you, NCG. I really do love movies so very much. It is something to do with my identity. It's something I can always connect to, that it was a positive influence in my life continuously through the years. And look, you know, no matter what happens, you always have the movies to go to. You know, no matter what's going on in your life, there's always a movie to connect with and have fun with. So yeah, well, thank you for watching my rants and my my deep dive on some of these movies. I appreciate you a lot. Hyuna the Hyena says in response to NCG's post, I was just writing this very question. LOL. Well, thank you, Hyuna the Hyena. I really appreciate you and all of your support, and I hope that was a decent answer for you guys. As far as classic movies that are just so beloved, so remembered, all the people from the 80s just can't stop talking about those movies from the 80s. You know, your Ghostbusters, your Gremlins, your Big Trouble in Little China, your Legends, your Dark Crystals. It was just a great time for movies in the 1980s. Okay, the next question is from Anthony Wheeler. Anthony, thank you for your support for so many years. Thank you so much. I recognize the name. You're amazing. Thank you. Anthony Wheeler's question is, if you could remake any movie, new or old, what would it be and why? All right. If I could remake any movie, new or old. Let's see. Yeah, that's a tough question. I guess the best kind of movie to redo would be a movie that kind of missed the mark a little bit, or one that could really be a lot of fun in today's era. In a way, I would love for, you know what I would like? I would like a remake of Barbarella. I kind of would love for her to be experienced, instead of like a person who kind of accidentally fell into her mission. I wish it was more like a real, like, mission. Maybe that's not the right movie to remake. Oh, I know a good one that could use a remake, and that would be Life Force. Yes. Life Force. And this time, actually call it Space Vampires instead of Life Force. But that would be my thing, would be to remake Life Force, because that's a movie with so much potential. And the story has the potential to go even deeper than it was presented in the film. So I would love to see a remake of that, and like get into the actual lore of vampires, how that really plays into the storyline, how there are many people on Earth that are descendants of these vampire space aliens and they don't even know it. That would be awesome. In response to Anthony Wheeler's question, John P. Jones says, I'm surprised nobody's remade Green Mansions. Great book, but the Audrey Hepburn movie is so underwhelming. Oh, you know what? I've never seen Green Mansion, so that's something I may have to, check out as well. Oh, Anthony Wheeler responds and says, I've never heard of that. Maybe I'll check it out sometime. Yeah, me too. I've never heard of that movie. But if it's underwhelming, should we watch it? I don't know. I've never read the book, so maybe I'll read the book. Yeah, maybe I'll read the book. Thanks for your question. The Chuck Taylor #1 asks, what's your favorite snack to eat while watching a movie? I guess you can say I'm kind of a weird person. I don't usually eat anything. I think when I was younger, I used to eat popcorn and, candy snacks and stuff like that. But now I would probably like to eat dinner while I'm watching a movie. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe, if anything, a piece of candy as sort of a palate cleanser or something. Thanks for your question. All right, Star Crunch asks, since your videos are essentially well-researched essays, I was wondering if you ever had anything published related to film or otherwise. That is something I would love to do one day. I have never done it. The only thing that I do have is my blog, which I leave all my reviews on. And the link for that is in the description. Most of them are all written out. And I may have a few reviews that aren't on video. So they're just written reviews. So if you ever want to check out some of the written essays, as you call them, they are all in the blog. This question is also by Star Crunch. By the way, Star Crunch, I love your avatar. So cool. Nosferatu. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so Star Crunch asks, why did you decide to approach your videos from a review perspective rather than the more fashionable and lucrative reaction style that many YouTubers do? I do have a few watch reaction type videos that I did in 2020 during the pandemic. I thought those were really great, but it also takes me away from a lot of the movies I want to go deep on and movies that I've already seen like many, 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 many times. So I don't mind doing that for like a new movie. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a few of them actually. So it's not off limits. I could do something a little bit more lucrative, as you say, because I'll be experimenting with different things along the way. So yes, that's very astute of you to notice that I don't necessarily do it the way other people do it, and maybe I should try to do for fun. Plus, you gotta keep things spicy, right? You gotta keep things spicy. So you gotta change up a little bit, Star Crunch also asks, what's your day job? Okay. Well, my day job is basically in a very cute little convenience store, and I also do some consulting for other channels, and altogether, all the jobs combined ends up paying the bills. James Mosk asks, what's your favorite 80s horror movie? Mine is Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. I'm not a big horror fan. Horror movies really irritate me. They make me angry. You wouldn't like to see me when I'm angry. It's really so cliche for me. The horror movies I like would be more like ideas of horror, like the movie 1984. Like the idea and the concept of horror as a lifestyle. That's also very horrific. For me, like jump scares and stuff like that don't work. But Nightmare on Elm Street was so different. It had comedy. It was gruesome, but it was also stuff you had never seen before. Like you'd never seen blood gush up from a bed onto a ceiling, and a girl being dragged to the ceiling in this really horrific scene. The quips and the character of Freddy Krueger was funny and maybe even endearing, but American Werewolf in London has a special place in my heart. It really does. There's something very primal about the way it begins, and scary. And another thing about that movie was like the howling of the wolf. I'll never get that out of my mind. The way the wolf sounds when it was howling. The music was fantastic. There were so many iconic scenes and quotes. Just amazing. So I think that's got to be my favorite horror movie from the 1980s. The next one is from Joe Stolowski, and he asks, I am relatively a new subscriber, and I'd be very interested in learning more about you and how you ended up in space. You sign up for a space program and you meet the requirements, and then you end up in space. And the next question is, do you think that the trend of constant reboots and superheroes inhibits creative freedom in the movie industry? And my answer is yes and no. I'm kind of torn on this because I really love the idea of the creative stuff that they're doing now with all of these like different shows and franchises. It's great. I mean, they're advancing the field of filmmaking. They are creating new things, they're creating new costume techniques, they're creating new techniques to make filmmaking easier and cheaper and better, even though it's more expensive than ever. But eventually it's just, this stuff kind of trickles down over time, and it will become easier for filmmakers to make better quality movies. And really at that point, all you really have to do is concentrate on the story. And that's the real place where I think the creative deficit is writing original content. And original content is so hard to write because there's so much out there. It's all been done before, right? A story is a story is a story. But how you tell that story to audiences change. So I think franchises have a tendency to get stale over time, and then somebody says we have to reboot this whole thing, and I'm just kind of like, let's just create a new franchise. That's my thing. I'm like, let's create a new big story that's like the other one. And that's what they used to do a long time ago. They used to get stories and call them something else. It's sort of like what Zack Snyder's doing over at Netflix, where he's like, okay, I can't make a Star Wars movie, so then I'll make my own version. And that's basically how Indiana Jones got started. Steven Spielberg wanted to make Bond movies, but he realized, like, I'm never going to be able to make a Bond movie. So George Lucas said, hey, look, we can make your Bond film, but we'll name him something else. This is how we'll do it. So we get this incredible character of Indiana Jones, of Indiana Jones, who goes out on these quote-unquote missions where he collects something, and he is involved somehow in this kind of like adventure. Basically, Star Wars is another one that's like that. George Lucas wanted to do Flash Gordon, and he couldn't get the rights. It was all tied up with Dina De Laurentiis, and he just decided, hey, I'm going to make my own version of Flash Gordon and make it more epic and more intense, and throw in a little Dune in there, and and he created his own thing that people just can't seem to get enough of even today. They're still making stuff from his ideas from back in 1977. So I think we can make new content. We can also recycle old content into new content and give some of these franchises a break, because I think overexposure leads to the lack of continuity. And the lack of continuity in a franchise is a franchise killer, basically. What Hollywood's really banking on is the money from the familiarity that people have with franchises. The superhero franchises and, things like Star Wars and Star Trek. People know those things, so they don't have to sell it as hard as a brand new thing. You say, oh, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. People lose their minds. There's still always going to be somebody out there that's going to love Star Wars as much as maybe it has disappointed you or it doesn't seem to make sense to you anymore. Joe also asks, Sorry to go on a rant there, Joe. But that was a great question. But Joe also asks, are there any movies that you have reassessed since you made a video on them? Actually, there was one, and I did correct it by making the video over, which was The Last Unicorn. And the first version of my video, I was a lot harsher on that movie. And granted, it is a weird movie, but I found really amazing layers after I really looked into it again, and it's like, wow, I missed so much about the details of these characters. That is an intense, character-driven animation movie, and I just had to make the video over. And there's a couple of them that I would really want to add more content to. Some of the earlier ones, they're really shorter videos, and really I didn't get a chance to get deeper into a lot of the characters that I really would love to. Everything else I'm really super proud of. And that's why it takes so long for me to make these videos, because I really want to make sure, do I really feel this way about this movie? Am I really looking at all of the details that are going on in this film? Am I missing something? So I really want to catch every detail. That's why it takes so long. Oh, by the way, I might start doing shorter reviews of things. I'm trying to experiment and try new things. Now, do you have any advice for people moving to New York City? I was really perplexed by this question, because I was like, why would anybody ask me that? And I was like, oh, because in my video, I asked for you guys to keep it classy. And it's a very New York-y accent. And yes, I am from New York City. I don't live in New York City at the current moment. So I'm a little bit disconnected from what is going on there currently. But I say that my biggest advice for anybody moving to New York City is leave your car wherever it is. Don't bring your car, because you won't need it, number one, and it would be a big hassle for you to try to figure out where to have your car parked or kept while you're living in New York City. Oh, and Joe says, thank you so much. Oh, well, thank you, Joe, for leaving so many awesome little questions. I know I went off on a tangent on a couple of them, because they were so juicy. I mean, this I could make a full video on, absolutely, and talk ad nauseum about how strongly I feel about these topics. All right, the next question is from Variations on Film. What movie should they never remake in your opinion? Ooh, let's see. This is a tough one. There are a lot of movies I don't think they should ever touch, because they really feel like time capsules, and they're perfect for the era. One of those movies is Christine. There are a lot of people who don't like that movie, but the people who do like that movie like it for the fact that it captures the 80s with a heavy influence of the 1950s. The music was so good. I mean, the music is like an integral part of the storytelling, the acting. Keith Gordon was amazing in that movie. I don't think you're going to get another actor who's going to play Arnie Cunningham like that. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. Logan's Run is another timepiece movie. It's really like sucking the very juices out of the 1970s and inserting it right into every single scene. It's just really beautifully done, in my opinion. As I mentioned before, retooled, named something completely else, and you can use the same premise and give credit, like this is based on Logan's Run, or an adaptation of the book would be cool. Another Stephen King story that I hope they never remake is Silver Bullet. I just love the way that movie really captures something endearing for this family, and, you know, kind of how they were sort of splintering off, and how they've always have this one horrible story that kind of connects them together. Also, what is the worst movie you've ever seen? I think the worst movie I've ever seen, and I don't want to say that it's the worst movie ever, because I appreciate all movies, but there was one movie called Star Worms 2, and they never made a Star Worms 1. So it's just like Star Wars 2. It's weird. But it was one of those movies that was nearly incoherent. And I was just watching it going, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? But it's a low budget film. I don't want to beat up on it too much, because I think there was something interesting there, but it, because of the budget constraints, and they just had a really hard time making that story work. The next question is from Woodrow. Woodrow, have you any dreams about movies that you'd like to turn into a movie? Any dreams about? I guess the movies I mentioned that I had always wanted to make, and I did exclude one other movie which I really wanted to do something with Retro Nerd Girl, and I might do something like that next year, which is sort of like a poorly animated but picture-based animation of a little adventure for the character. It could be something fun for us here on the channel. I'm thinking about that. It's something I'm kind of dreaming about, but nothing too expensive or too elaborate, but going on missions all over the universe to spread the good name of movies and spread the knowledge of classic movies to all those who wish to partake. Woodrow also asks, will you review a limited series like True Blood, Devs, Legion? Love hearing your imaginative perspectives. Series are a lot more in-depth. I haven't figured out the code yet, and so maybe in the future, but I won't promise it because I still have hundreds of movies to review that I really do want to hit on. The next message is from Johnny Wyatt Green. I would like to know what's your favorite top 10 science fiction movies. The Day the Earth Stood Still, Metropolis, The Matrix. There's a couple of Star Trek movies in there. My favorite Star Trek movie, it's Generations. I know everyone hates that one. Dune 1984. The Last Starfighter was really good. Total Recall, Demolition Man, A Universal Soldier, Time Machine, Message from Space. I love Message from Space. That's like a straight up one of my jams forever and a day. Life Force, Logan's Run is amazing. And Barbarella is really one of my favorites. I overexceeded the number, but yes, I had to throw in Barbarella because it's so awesome. And then, oh my God, I forgot one that I reviewed is Lathe of Heaven. It's one of those slow-moving movies that's really good. So there's 1984. There's The Forbidden Planet. There's Fantastic Planet. So many. It's hard to narrow it down to my favorite because there's so many. There's so many good ones. That is a video that I will have to put together once I get my thoughts together on that. But thank you so much. You have another question. Your other question is, why do you love science fiction so much? I love science fiction so much because it is a fantasy world that is not on Earth, that I get to enjoy the escape of everyday life. There's a way of doing science fiction too that's almost like present day Earth, but gives you the creeps a little. And that's also kind of interesting. It's like, oh, what if the world was like this? And those ideas are very interesting to me. They stimulate my mind. It's like some kind of intellectual feeding, if you will. And you also say, I simply love your reviews so much. It's probably because so many of your reviews of science fiction movies you do hold a special place in my heart. You're the coolest person on YouTube. My goodness. Wow, thank you. That's a big compliment. I am so glad I found you to share my love of science fiction movies. Well, oh my gosh, thank you. And then you also added again, I love you. That is really so sweet. Thank you so much. It's just amazing. I can only say thank you. You are awesome. Thank you. Pajama Pants Jack asks, found you through your 13th floor review. Good stuff. Keep up the good work. Smiley face. Oh, thank you, Pajama Pants Jack. Thank you. If I had to ask, what would you consider your most underrated video? Oh, wow. The ones that are really, really underrated are the ones that are mostly controversial. So I understand why those are not really being watched. But My review for The Never Ending Story is one that I'm like, man, I'm really proud of everything that I put down in that movie review. It's only been 3 months, and my videos really take some time to get out there into the stratosphere, so I'm not freaking out about it or anything, but I can't say I'm proud of everything in my life. But my videos that I make on this channel, I'm really proud of them. And so it really fills me with a lot of joy that they connect with people. So yeah, I would love for the Never Ending Story review to finally connect with people. Okay, the next question is from Eddie Polo. Hi, Retro Nerd Girl. I love your reviews. Oh, thank you so much. Do you read sci-fi fantasy books? I don't get a chance to do it so much anymore. When I was younger, I could probably read more. I would love to read more, though. But the next question is, do you have any favorite books and authors within those genres? My exposure to science fiction books is very limited compared to avid readers. When I was younger, I would read everything. Like, I would read romance novels. I would read Anne Rice. My favorite science fiction book was Dune by Frank Herbert. And I did read some Ursula Le Guin, some Philip K. Dick, Isaac Asimov. Oh my God. I, at one point, had been reading all of the William Shatner Tech Wars books. That was a treat. I used to love those things. Okay. I'm not an expert. I don't even remember a lot of it, but I'm sure it would come back to me. And Eddie also asked any books or comics that you would love to see adapted onto the screen. I would love to see Dune God Emperor be adapted. I mean, it is a lot to ask for. It really is, because that would be provided that Dune and the second part of Dune be a hit, to have the next 2 books, which is also Dune Messiah and Dune Children of Dune, and then God Emperor happens. So it would take some time to get there. And I'm not even sure that Denis Villeneuve would be the one to actually bring it to the screen, but cross our fingers that it actually makes it to the big screen one day. That's a big wish. Thank you for the question, Eddie Polo. All right, the next question is from Samuel Rivera. Oh, hey, Samuel Rivera. Thank you so much for always leaving such amazing comments and being so awesome of a supporter. I appreciate you so much. When it comes to sci-fi, you do a wonderful commentary with documentary added, as well as historical movie facts, which makes listening to your reviews very interesting. Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. See, this is what I'm saying about Samuel. He always leaves the awesomest comments for me. I just love it. Thank you. My question, will you do regular movie reviews on noir films or classics like Casablanca? Yep, Casablanca is on my list. Treasure of Sierra Madre, yes, that is also on my list. Lifeboat, I don't know that movie. I'll have to put that movie on my watch list. World War II movies. Well, World War II movies are definitely not my genre. I'm not a big fan of war movies in particular. I guess I could review 1 or 2, and I do have some movies that I am going to review that are set in World War II. And Iwo Jima. And I suppose Iwo Jima is in relation to World War II movies. I'll do other movies besides just sci-fi, and they span from animated movies to romantic comedies. I just really wanted to get a lot of the classic sci-fi stuff done, because it's sort of my mission to get those out. And then I can kind of tackle some of the other ones. But a lot of the musicals of the 1940s and 1950s, all of the different types of movies, even the ones that we're probably seeing today, I'll eventually review the movies that are being played, or the current movies of today. I'll eventually be reviewing those as well, over a long span of time. So I plan on doing this for a long time, is what I'm saying. All right, Samuel also asks, will you be selling merchandise that represents your channel? And the answer is yes, it's coming. It's taking some time, but it's definitely coming, guys. You've asked and I'm listening and I will provide. Thank you for asking. It's coming. The next question is by Kubi Malik. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Hey, Retro Nerd Girl. Question, have you did a review on Disney's Black Hole yet? No, I haven't. And it's on my list. It really, really dark movie for Disney, to be honest. And set in outer space. It started out as being almost like a Lost in Space, but with very, very dark implications. I remember seeing that when I was a little girl and being really scared. It's a slower pace, but it's so good. So I definitely want to get into that. It has some of my favorite actors in the movie, and I am definitely going to review it. I won't promise that I'm going to do it immediately. It's going to take me some time. I've got a lot of other movies I want to do before that one. But yeah, it is on my list of movies to review. Yeah. All right, the next question is from Cecil Hester. What's your favorite movie of all time? And my favorite movie of all time is The Terminator, 1984. Love the movie. Hands down, never disappoints, as a really amazing story. It's really great. The acting was so good. I love the seriousness of the tone of it. I felt really, really afraid for the characters. I was with them from the beginning all the way to the end. Arnold is scary in this. It feels like a horror movie, but it's also a sci-fi movie, very entrenched. You get just a snippet of the world of Terminator, but it's huge. I love the sheer creativity and boldness of that movie. Even though all of the special effects don't hold up today, it pushed the boundaries of what it could do, and also was all about that storytelling. Everything serves the story. So that's my favorite movie. Okay, the next question is from John P. Jones. Could you review the 1970 Hammer space movie, Moon 02? Always thought it was incredibly underrated. Okay, I've never heard of Moon 02, and I'm actually interested in watching it. I mean, at least I can do is watch it to begin with. So you are opening up my eyes to new horizons. As far as reviewing it, I really would have to see it. In response to that, William Blake Hall says, I loved it as a teenager, but I've looked at it recently and time and the loss of nostalgia have not been kind. Still, it rates a review. Okay, that's high recommendation. And then John P. Jones responds with, it's one of those movies that impressed me as a kid and still pushes my buttons. Ooh, that sounds... I need to see this movie. The others include The Frozen Dead. I've never seen that, with Dana Andrews, and The Day the Fish Came Out, which is a mess, but kind of fascinating. Oh, wow, I really have never seen that movie either. And you add that I'm really a 60s nut. Okay, well, no, this is great. I have materials to watch. Thank you so much, John P. Jones. Okay, I'm probably going to say your name wrong, so I'm going to try, though, right? Because trying is at least something. Tecpao Saloti Castillo says, what is your favorite Mexican film? My goodness, I don't think I've ever seen a Mexican film. I need an education. It seems, yes, you'll have to tell me what is your favorite Mexican film so I can get started. If you have some that you would recommend me as sort of like a starter kit of Mexican films to get started watching, please let me know. I would love to watch them. Thank you. My next question comes from Government Cheese. Are you a big fan of the OG Twilight Zone? And if so, what are some of your favorite episodes? Yes, I'm a big fan of the old Twilight Zone episodes. My gosh, it's been a while, but I think they're so classic and so amazing. I think my ultimate favorite, because of its sci-fi element, is probably To Serve Man. Is a very good one that I love very much. Time Enough at Last was pretty good. That one really got to me. They just put a smile on my face because I'm like, wow, how clever was that? They're all so very clever. The masks, that was a good one. So yeah, thanks for that question. I love those questions that make me think of programs and things that I grew up with. And I definitely grew up with Twilight Zone reruns playing often on television. So yeah, thanks for the question. The next question comes from Donald Ramon, who says, what is your guilty pleasure movie that most people clown on? Oh, gosh, I have a long list of those, but the one that really always gets me is Batman and Robin. I don't know for whatever reason, but I love that movie. I do. It is a mess, but I just love it. I just think it's so much fun. It's corny in a lot of places, but there's something so much fun that reminds me of the old school Batman and Robin from the television days. And your other question, if you were trapped on a desert island and could only have one movie to watch, what would it be? Okay, first of all, Donald, these are great questions, okay? They're unique, they're different. I've never answered this question before. I would have to say I want a long movie that lasts a long time and I can feel kind of good after watching it. Zack Snyder's Justice League might be cool because it's epic and it's got the music, it's got the slow motion, it's got all that epic stuff, and it's 4 hours. That'll, take out a chunk of time so I don't have to worry about being trapped on a desert island. A lot of epic fight scenes and moments throughout. Great storyline. Yeah, you can't beat it. Somebody give me some ideas. Maybe I have chosen unwisely. So I would love to know what you guys think. And especially you, Donald. Let me know what you would pick for your special movie. Thanks for the question. Star Crunch is back with another question. Oh, I've got one more question. Are there any YouTube channels that inspire you or that you'd like to recommend to your viewers? Oh, that's a very interesting question. If you are specifically looking for channels that are a lot like mine, Oliver Harper, his channel is very similar, except he has amazing production. I can't even keep up with that. Sean Chandler talks about, he actually does a lot of movie reviews, a lot of top 10s, very big into the MCU, Disney MCU movies. Geek Legion of Doom is pretty awesome. Leo does a lot of movies that you don't normally hear about, like low budget movies and really fun movies. Then there's Dusty Old Movies, and Dusty Old Movies really concentrates on a lot of old school horror movies like Dracula, The Mummy from like the 1930s, very big on Bela Lugosi, that kind of thing. There is Brandon Tenold, who kind of talks about the movie, but he makes fun of it. It's kind of fun. The way he puts his videos together is quite fun. Deep Focus, run by an artist who is very analytical and very thoughtful about her reviews. Love her reviews. There is also Double Toasted. Double Toasted is one of my all-time favorite movie review channels. There's Red Letter Media. They're fantastic. Very critical. Post Geek Singularity, run by Robert Meyer Burnett. There's a lot of new channels that I've started watching in the last 6 months that are really awesome. And I'm actually going to put together a list of those things and make a video all about that. The next question is from a person that I know, Angel Selrick. Oh, thank you for leaving a message. Thank you so much, Angel. I miss you so much. Angel's question is, if you had to choose an all-time favorite movie, what would it be? It would be Terminator. That's my favorite movie of all time. I know it's a little weird. Terminator seems to really hit every single note that affects me. I think this might have been your first question. It might have flipped itself. So this may be Angel's first question. The high heart, if you could have played any character in any film, who would it have been? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Wonder Woman, maybe. Yeah, probably Wonder Woman and Zack Snyder's Justice League. That would have been really fun. That would have been really fun. Wow, these are really great questions. The next question is from That's Right Jay. Thank you so much, That's Right Jay. I'm gonna make a comment about you because you always leave me the sweetest comments, so encouraging, and absolutely appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for always leaving the best comments. Now let's get to That's Right Jay's question. I can't really think of any questions off the top of my head, but I would like to just say that I appreciate you and your videos. Thank you. Oh my God! You see what I'm saying? I appreciate you back. You're fantastic. The next question is from Thrash Pondo Pons. Hey, Thrash Pondo Pons. Really good to see you here. First, let me say congratulations on your 6th anniversary. Thank you. Here's to many more. And my question is this. My content channel just celebrated its 2nd anniversary. Happy anniversary! This is fantastic. And yet it has only recently passed the 100 sub mark. What advice would you give me to improve my videos so as to possibly grow my channel at a faster rate? Thank you. All right. All right. I subbed to your channel a little while ago, so I'm familiar with your channel. So the thing that I really would say is your channel is missing a punchline. Like, what are you doing on the channel? And what I could best describe what you're possibly doing is that you are looking at everything that's retro. So you could do something like everything retro or vintage life or something like that. Usually when people think vintage, they're thinking like pre-1900, really, really old, anything that's over 100 years old. But like retro really like fits you. And I see here you're wearing a retro t-shirt, which is kind of cool because it looks like that's part of some sort of branding. So I would definitely use a channel banner to just say, reviewing all things retro. You're reviewing songs, old jokes, and other like older things. I think that could work. And what I'm also noticing is that the videos that you show your face seem to categorically be more popular, have more views. So if I were you, I would probably just put my face in a lot of these videos. And definitely when you're doing your live streams, pick a topic and put it in the title because people who are looking for that topic can always find it. This allows your live streams to live further than just the people from your channel. Write in your titles, actually write out what is inside of these videos, like especially for live streams, because just putting live stream is not really informing people on what the contents are. Also, notice that you have a couple of videos where you're out and about. I would suggest that you put your face in the picture, like you actually take a selfie of yourself with the background of wherever it is that you're going so people can recognize that it's you, and that might also get you more views because people are responding to your face, I'm noticing. So yeah, those are some things that you can try and see if that works. That would be my suggestion for your channel. But guys, if you're interested in retro things and conversations about retro stuff, definitely check out Thrash Pondo Pons. It's actually a really good channel and he's funny. He's got a great personality. So definitely check that out. Okay, the next question is from Lucky. Lucky says, "Hi RNG, I am still waiting for your Gandhar Light Years review." Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh my, I'm super sorry. Gandhar Light Years is a movie I saw a long time ago. I don't really remember it that much, but I am going to review it. It's on my list of movies to review. I just have a lot of other movies to review before that one. So it's on the list. It's just gonna be a while. I'm so sorry about that. I wish this process was faster, and I wish I could just snap out reviews really fast, but I can't. It really takes me a really long time. And you know, with this particular movie, I really want to take my time and get it right and not miss anything. So it's the care that I really want to make sure I get these movies correct and not be ashamed of it. So I have to take the time. I'm sorry. The next question is from Awesome Spidey. And Awesome Spidey says, congratulations. Well, thank you, Awesome Spidey. And you obviously like older retro movies. But what's your top 10 movies from the last 10 years? I talked about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Ooh, RRR. That just is an amazing movie. If you ever get a chance to see this movie, RRR, it's fantastic. Everybody see this movie. This is insane. Right now it's on Netflix. There's stuff like Ex Machina. That was fantastic. I liked Captain America Winter Soldier. The Red Turtle. I can't watch that movie without starting to cry. What We Do in the Shadows. That was a good one. Oh, and The Man Who Invented Christmas. That was so good. Of course, Dune that just came out was fantastic. And also, you know, Don't Look Up. That was great. The Adam Project. That was pretty good. I really enjoyed that film. And I'm sure there are others. And I haven't, again, I'm not a connoisseur of recent movies at all. I just watch whatever lands in front of me. And every once in a while, I get lucky and I get something really good. I'm not sure if that adds up to 10, but that's about all I could think of for right now. Thanks for the question. All right, the next one is from A Screenwriter's Journey. And The Screenwriter's Journey says, what's the title of and where did you get your groovy background music? Oh, okay. I got the music from a website called Incomptech.com. It is from Kevin MacLeod. You might be able to even find it under the YouTube audio library. And the name of the song is called Honeybee. And it's really short. So I wish it was longer, but it's just a little bit of music. You also asked, would you act in a movie? Oh, if there were very few lines. Yeah, if there were very few lines, I could act in a movie. But if I have to learn a monologue, that would be very difficult. And have you written any sci-fi stories or scripts? I have, actually. It's kind of rough doing things on your own because you don't have anybody to guide you. And so I just keep writing them and rewriting them and rewriting them. And that's a problem, I know. The next question is from Wet Circuit. Oh my God. Hello there. I remember you. Okay. Wet Circuit asks, what's your favorite movie spaceship? My favorite ship has to be the Enterprise. It does everything. It's military ops, leisure, living quarters. It has everything. I think if you wanted to have a vacation on the Enterprise, you certainly could. I think so. And then it's got the holodeck, so definitely the Enterprise. Great question. Wet Circuit also asks, what is the worst movie planet to crash and get stranded on? Ooh. There's probably a toss-up between the planet in Enemy Mine or Mustafar, Darth Vader's planet. I think Darth Vader's planet of Mustafar is probably the worst. And what's the plan? How would you survive? Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I guess I would have to get a job working for Vader, and that would be really, really touch and go, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness, great question. The next question is from Hudson. Hello, new subscriber. Well, welcome to the channel and welcome to the party. First question is Alien versus Aliens. Aliens all the way. Movies, black and white or color? Ooh, good question. Well, black and white is really special. Love the shadows and the different tones that you can create with black and white. But color is just, it's going to be more, And, the thing about color is that you can take color away. So I would say color. Next question is time travel, past or future? Definitely future. Definitely future. And fourth question, Will Smith or Chris Rock? Oh my gosh, that's a really tough, hilarious question. I would say Will Smith because he's tied into a lot of nostalgia for me. Great questions, Hudson, and definitely welcome to the channel and welcome to our community. The next question comes from Mario Carrerio. I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. You say, hi RNG. My question is, are you planning on reviewing any foreign, non-English speaking movies? Yes, I am actually going to be reviewing a lot of them. I have quite a few in mind, and it's just going to take these processes happen slow, but I am planning on doing just that. Thanks for your question, Maria. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Okay, next message is from Chubby Teddy Monster Productions. Oh, thank you for leaving a message. And your question is, what is your favorite of the Mad Max movies? I did see them all at some time and some point, but I think my favorite has got to be Thunderdome just because of nostalgia. The most recent one was really good too, but I think it's a tie. Tina Turner is my idol. She's just amazing in that movie. Thanks for your question, Chubby Teddy Bear Monster Productions. This next question is from Wallace009. Where did that image of an astronaut come from? Is it an original drawing that you or someone you know made, or did you get it from an existing source? Well, everything that you just said. I was able to draw the face, but as far as drawing the actual costume, I really wanted that look in particular. And so there was a clip art kind of thing that I had to buy. So I bought that clip art, and it's a combination of my drawing and somebody else's drawing to create something that's kind of my own. So that's where it comes from. I drew her face, her hair, and the animated faces. I drew all that. I did make some changes to the costume to fit my needs. Thanks for your question, Willis009. The next question is from High Ice 007. We got a lot of double O's. Have you seen the best movie ever made, Blue Thunder? If so, will you do a review on it soon? I have never seen Blue Thunder. If so, I may have maybe caught a little bit on television, maybe a long time ago. So I'll have to put that on my watch list. Any chance you will do a review on The Wizard of Speed and Time? Ooh, you are schooling me right now because I've never heard that movie. The Wizard of Speed and Time. Okay, another movie to add on my watch list. I got a long list of movies now I gotta watch now. Your recommendations are on fire here. What is it like growing up in New York? And have you been to the USS Intrepid? What's it like growing up in New York? It's I don't know, it's like growing up anywhere else. You get to go outside and play, but you play on the sidewalk. You go to the park and you play. You walk around, you see all these big buildings. Sometimes you see celebrities on the streets. I had a great childhood growing up in New York City. It was a lot of fun for me. And have you been to the USS Intrepid? The Intrepid, yes, I've been a few times. What got you into retro classic movies? Retro classic movies, they're the movies of my childhood. The movies that I grew up with. In my family, my mom really loved movies too. The older movies would play late at night. Sometimes you would get like a Gal Friday that played at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I would stay up until 5 o'clock watching an old black and white movie or Planet of the Apes or something. The late night TV. And as a kid, you just love staying up really, really late. So I think that's why I got into really retro movies, is because I stayed up late to watch them as a kid because it was fun. And what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? I basically started my YouTube channel because there were a lot of channels that were making fun of older movies and not celebrating them. I really wanted to talk about movies in depth and really give them the love that they deserve. And the sixth question is, what is your favorite era of movies? I think I answered this question before, and I said that it was the 80s. Keep posting. I love your reviews. Well, thank you so much, High Ice 007. Thank you so much. This next question is from Unicorn Rampant Studio. What is your sign? LOL. In my classiest voice. Anyway, it was the first question I thought of since I imagine things like astrological signs influence or inform how we interpret the fantastic and aspirational suspension of belief. I'm a year of the dog, Virgo, with an Aries rising and Libra moon. Almost everyone I've had a serious discussion with or have gone to the movies with in 30 years all have been Cancers who notoriously don't have much of a bar of quality. They just like going to the movies. Hopefully my explanation adds personal investment to the classiness. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, I don't have any problem revealing that I am a Leo. Yes, a Leo. Rawr. I'm also the year of the dog. I'm a Leo moon and Virgo Venus, which makes me really particular about everything, and I have no right to be. And I'm not sure about the Cancer thing. I really haven't been that lucky in life to be able to have really great conversations with a lot of people about movies, except for my mom. My mom and I can talk about movies because she's the one who exposed me to a lot of movies. So she's the real retro nerd girl. I also see that you have some suggestions of other movies that you think are deemable for review. 2010 Odyssey 2. I'll have to put that on my list. 12 Monkeys. Not really my kind of movie, to be honest. I need to probably sit down and watch this movie that everyone says is amazing. So, yeah, Oblivion. That's another one I have to sit down and watch. It's just I haven't had the time. Wings of Desire. I think, did I see this movie a long time ago? This is one I have to put on my watch list because I'm pretty certain I've seen this before. Brazil, that movie is going to be reviewed. It's on my review list, but it'll be a while because, first of all, Brazil is an incredibly intricate movie with a lot of moving parts, a lot of detail, and I don't want to flub on that one. I want to really put together a really good detailed movie review for that. So it might be a year before I get to do Brazil, but I am working on it. AI, I am going to review that one. But again, it's one of those, it's very low on the list of priorities. Like, I gotta get my Star Wars in there, Star Trek in there, action movies, Sinbad movies, and Roger Corman movies that I've got to get in there. I love your choices, and you've given me some movies to watch. Thank you for your suggestions. These are great. This question is from Roro Tono. Hey, how you doing? Roro Tono says, who drew your graphics? I love the retro comic style. It would be great on a poster, shirt, mug. I'd particularly love to have a pin badge. I may have some new images, but I am going to do t-shirts and stuff like that. That is in the works. That will be happening. Thank you for asking. Thank you, everyone who wants these. I really appreciate that. Rorotona also asks, are you an artist for your day job? Absolutely not. I wish I did some kind of art, but it's kind of funny, and I kind of am glad that I'm not. Then I would hate doing any kind of art at all. But I do have an art background, and I like doing things freelancey on my own and having fun with it. I like to have fun with my art. Rorotona also asks, have you considered reviewing TV shows? Yes, I have considered reviewing TV shows when the Masters of the Universe reboot or kind of new version that Kevin Smith did came out. I wanted to review that and so bad, but I was like, how does this work on my channel? Let me just be honest, I really don't know how to cover it properly. If I crack the code, I will definitely do it, but I haven't cracked the code yet. This question is from PowerBad696. Hello, I really love your channel, Retro Nerd Girl. Congrats on 6 years anniversary. Oh, thank you so much. The question I have for you is, are you going to see Avatar 2 and are you looking forward to it? I probably am going to catch it when it comes on streaming. Where I live is a little bit tough for me to get to a theater, and so Avatar 2 might not be one that I get to see in the theaters unless something magical happens. I am curious as to find out how they are going to continue the story, because the last movie wrapped up things quite nicely, and it's just, I felt like it was a great one-off movie. And from what I'm seeing in the reports, there are certain characters that I thought were dead that are still alive, so that's kind of upsetting. But we're talking about James Cameron. He has a special talent when it comes to making sequels. He did two of the most amazing sequels of all time, Terminator 2 and Aliens. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The next question is from Steve N, who says, I really enjoy your videos. Congratulations on 6 years. Oh, thank you, Steve. What was the most surprising thing you learned while researching a movie? Oh, surprising thing? I don't know if I get surprised anymore. I was surprised while I was reviewing Surrogates, the report of Bruce Willis's condition of having aphasia hit the press. When I saw that report, it was sort of like easy to connect why this movie feels so weird and different from his other stuff. Like if you watch Death Becomes Her, his performance is so lively in that movie compared to what he does in The Surrogates. So yeah, that was probably the most surprising thing that has happened while I was doing research for a film. Thanks for your question. That was really good. That was a great question. We have another question from Rorotono. What were your interests as a child? Favorite novels, comic books, TV shows, dancing? Ooh, that's like, I don't know, a 40-minute video. I liked all those things. I mean, my favorite novels, I mean, as a child, I was reading child books. I love The Wizard of Oz, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn and all that stuff. Comic books, definitely. Heavy Metal magazine. TV shows, $6 Million Man, The Hulk, Battlestar Galactica, The A-Team, Charlie's Angels. Dancing, I love dancing. Dancing was fantastic. All of those things. So, yeah, great question. Rotono also asks, with so much work and resources required for your videos, what made you think about doing reviews and how'd you get started? Are you a professional reviewer or critic? I'm definitely not a professional reviewer or critic. I wanted to make a movie and I wanted to craft a really amazing story. So I started looking at different movies that really made me feel something special. And while I was doing that, I was watching a lot of reviews that were making fun of a lot of movies that I thought were, I thought that they were a little cruel. I love a good rant. So nothing against those movie reviewers or anything like that. Rorotono with another question. What kind of toys, figures, or other items do you collect? Well, I try not to collect because I am definitely in the spectrum of being a hoarder. But I am clearing a lot of stuff out. And it's hard to be a collector, not hoard at the same time. That being said, I do have small collections of little things. Like, I do have a small collection of comic books. I do have a small collection of DVDs. I do have a small collection of old VCR cassette tapes that I just can't part with. I do have a collection of cassette tapes that I can't part with. I do have a collection of Barbies because I do like to do dioramas in the 1/6 scale. So that's a thing. 1/6 scale is my jam. I really like miniature things. So I do collect a lot of miniature items. And the problem is either displaying them or storing them. So that's a thing I do, but I have to say that I am trying to be conservative about how much I grab. I am a collector of Christmas things too, and that's really bad because Christmas things can be really big, obnoxiously big, and it's really hard to fit inside of a small apartment, which I have. So it is something I'm working on, organizing all of the stuff so that way I can find the things that I want and get to them. Rorotona has another question. Who is one of your favorite female actors from the last century in science fiction, horror, fantasy, or comedy? The closest one I would say is Sigourney Weaver for all the stuff that she did with the Alien franchise. And honestly, I love all of the ones that she was in. Even the ones that didn't do very well. She was always amazing in all of them, including Alien 5. I guess, that would be kind of cliche to say her because most people would say her, but she's earned the title as the queen of sci-fi, I would say. Thank you. That's an excellent question. Another question from Roro Tono. It's cool that your mom took you to the movies, even rated R. Did she also have an interest in movies? Yeah, my mom took me to the movies. She's totally cool, totally chill, but she also told me good manners, good morals. I wasn't going to ever be influenced by a movie to do something. She loved movies. She loved the same kind of movies I loved. We would talk for hours about movies like The Dark Crystal. We loved that stuff. We loved Star Wars. I mean, we were so into all of that stuff. She was a big influence for me as far as the movies were concerned. I'm so happy that I was raised in a home where there was a love of something so special. Real life is tough, it's hard, but here's a place where we can escape and we can watch this really cool movie, like a Willow. And it was just a great time growing up with my mom. We didn't live in a perfect world, but this was one thing that my mom could provide for me, and it was awesome. What can I say? Thanks for the question. It brought back a lot of memories. Full chain animation is next. My question is, why does this channel not have 1 million subs? Well, that is very sweet of you to say that. Oh my goodness. Yes. I just don't want everybody to subscribe that isn't really into the stuff, I'm really concerned with definitely matching the right people to the channel. This way it'll be more fun for us to go through the comments, and it'll be more fun for me to make videos for people who want them. So that's my main goal, is to make content for people who want the content and not just 1 million random people. I specifically want to make content for you. That was a great question. Thank you so much, Full Chain Animation. This question is from Sean Kennedy. What is your creation process? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I actually answered that question in a video that I made a few months ago called How I Make My Videos. You'll be able to see that video. Definitely completely outlines my entire process of how I create my videos. It is a long process and very time consuming and really intense. And Sean Kennedy also asks, where do you get your ideas? I get my ideas from all of the movies that really inspired me when I was younger, things that really stand out to me as movies that really evoke an emotion in me, or movies that I really adore, especially movies that I know have a legacy that filmmakers have used as their inspiration and, sort of are the birthplace of our modern films. So that's where I get my ideas from. So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Sean. That was a great one. Okay, guys. So this is the last question. It is one of the most asked questions I always get all the time, which is, Basically, what do you look like? What do you look like? Stephen Dunn asks, I'm in love with your avatar and would kill for a real photo. Please. And Zero Death says, would you please show us what you really look like? Thanks. Smiley face. Well, since you asked so nicely, yeah, here's what I look like. I mean, just an average girl in an average world. Yep, so that's what I look like. All right, guys, that is the last question. I have to say, how many questions? I had 67 awesome, incredible questions from you guys. Thank you so very much for your time, your energy, for watching my videos, for sending in those amazing questions, and being here with me for this extravaganza celebration of 6 years on YouTube for Retro Nerd Girl. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I hope this allowed you to get to know me a little bit better. If you're new here and this is your first time seeing my videos, please do check out the channel, because I have a lot of movie reviews that you might like of older movies. There's also a video about how I make my videos. Please check that out. I'm going to actually attach it to the end of this video through the end screen videos for those of you who've been subscribed and who are subscribed, new subscribers, old subscribers. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you so much. This is so great. I hope I have another 6 years, and I am very excited to see what else I can do. Maybe even more Q&A videos, maybe some countdown videos, some top 10 videos. I have to see how that works. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'm willing to give it a try if you guys want that kind of stuff. We talked about merchandise. We talked about merchandise, and merch is coming. So you guys asked for it, and I will make it a priority. And I also want to take this moment to recognize my amazing, wonderful, incredibly awesome Patreon supporters who are responsible for helping me to produce all my videos, especially this one. And you also can be on this list by heading over to Patreon and getting a little bit of behind the scenes stuff you don't get from me on YouTube. A lot of these questions about what movies I'm doing in the future, they're over at Patreon, so they actually have the heads up on what videos I'm working on. So I want to say thank you, and this is Retro Nerd Girl signing off. Take care, movie lovers. I'm off to my next video.